Hello everyone, welcome to day 25th of September Lead Code Challenge, and today's question is shortest path in a grid with obstacles elimination. In this question, we are given a matrix of size m cross n, and each cell can either contain a 0 or a 1. 0 signifies that there is no blockage at the current node. However, 1 signifies that we have an obstacle at the current node and there is a cost associated to cross this node. We need to tell the minimum number of steps needed to reach from the top left corner, this place, to the bottom right corner, provided you can eliminate at max k obstacles. If it is not possible to reach within these constraints, we have to return -1 in those cases. The question is easily understandable. Now let's look at the presentation. Shortest path in a grid with obstacle elimination, lead code 1293. It's a hard question on lead code, and I somewhere place this question between medium category to hard category. There is a small trick that you need to think of while solving this question. If you are able to come up with that trick, you'll be able to solve the question. The approach that we will use to solve this question is the BFS or the graph traversal approach. We have solved plenty of questions in the past, and I don't think that I need to re-explain the BFS approach. I'll tell you how and why I'm saying BFS approach when we will walk through the example. So let's talk about the question and let's extract the maximum information out of it. Let's take the same example that was specified in the question. This is the starting point. We need to reach the terminal bottom right index in this grid. Maxed obstacles that we can remove is equal to k, and in this example it happens to be 1. We need to tell the minimum number of steps needed to reach the bottom right corner. So let's talk about what all ways are possible. I could see one way is this, by this route. So in this path I can see only one obstacle and I can easily remove one obstacle given the value of k. So this is one possible valid path. And how many hops do I need to take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The answer is 6. One possible answer could be 6. Let's talk about the other possibility. And I need to start from this position again, and the other way could be through this path. How many obstacles do I need to remove? 1, 2. So this path is not a valid path. I need to do something else. There could be case I cross this path and from here I take a turn towards left and I go by this route. So let me just change the color of pen. So instead of going straight, I took a left turn and I went in this direction. In this path again I removed one obstacle. So this is a valid path. What is the length of this path? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here the length is 8. In the previous length that we saw was 6. 6 is better than 8. So we don't have to consider this path. There could be multiple possible paths. Let's walk through another path, and let me just take gray this time. We have to start from this end here, and let's take this path. In this path there is only one obstacle, so this satisfies the condition of k. We can safely remove this. And how many steps do I need to take? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again we got 6 as the answer. The previous answer that we calculated was also 6. So you will see that out of all the possible paths that you can generate in this matrix, 6 will give you the minimum distance. The question itself gives you the hint that we can move in 4 directions: top, left, bottom and right. So this graph problem can be solved using 2 approaches. One, the DFS approach, and other one being the BFS approach. Now comes the question which one to choose. In the BFS approach we go in a breadth-wise fashion, while in the DFS approach we move in the depth-wise fashion. So there could be case where you are moving unnecessarily across the depth and wasting your time. Therefore, we'll opt for the BFS approach, because as you progress across the various cells in the BFS direction, in the breadthwise direction, that will give you the minimum hops needed. We have solved plenty of questions and I'm not reiterating those facts here. You can watch the previous videos. I'm attaching the link of the playlist here. Now let's extract the second information. Associate each cell with the minimum number of obstacles needed to visit that cell. For example, the first parameter that I have stated in this grid is whether it's an obstacle or an empty cell, 0 or 1, while the second parameter that I've stated in this grid is the number of obstacles needed to reach this grid, provided it's minimum in number. For example, if you want to reach this particular grid, how many minimum obstacles that you need to cross? You have to cross at least one obstacle, which is by virtue of the current node. Similarly, if you want to reach this particular node, how many minimum obstacles you need to cross? One path could be this, the other part could be this. So the minimum number of obstacles needed is 1. There could be other path as well, using somewhere on these lines. Here in this path, the minimum obstacles needed to reach is 2, and since why the other path is 1, so I have stated 1 here. But there could be case as you progress ahead in your BFS reversal, a better value is found. Now let's look at the other possibilities that we need to think of. If we have not visited any particular cell and we are reaching it with O obstacles, where O happens to be less than K, then it simply means that the new cell is reachable. What I'm trying to state here is, let's assume we are reaching this particular node with O obstacles and O happens to be less than or equal to K. That simply means this node is reachable. Also, we need to take care of whether we have visited this node in the past or not. If we have not visited, then only this condition holds true, because we don't want to land up in looping scenarios. So if we have not visited the current node x comma y and the new obstacle count happens to be less than k or equal to k, this node becomes reachable. X comma y becomes reachable. Let's walk through the other condition. Let's assume we are reaching this particular node with O obstacles and the value of O is given to us is 4. The value of K is given to us is 5. And in the previous step, we have already visited this particular node, but using that route, it took 5 obstacles. So the previous number of obstacles that were needed to reach this particular node were 5. The value of K that is given to us is also 5. And using this new path, we are able to reach this node with only 4 obstacles. So what you should do, irrespective of the fact whether you have visited this node in the past or not, this seems like a better possibility for the answer. Therefore, we have to reconsider this node again, and we will update the minimum number of obstacles needed to reach this particular node from 5 to 4. So this gets updated to 4, and you need to re-add this particular node in your BFS queue. This is the crux of the problem, the most interesting case. If you found out that the current node under consideration can be reached in the lesser value than the previous obstacles that you used in the past, and the newer value happens to be within the limits of K, then this becomes a better candidate for finding the answer. Let's just mathematically restate this. If the old obstacle count happens to be greater than the new obstacle count, that means a new obstacle count is a better candidate and it is within the limits of K. We will not consider the fact whether we visited this node in the past or not. We have to reconsider it. We will re-add the cell I comma j into our BFS queue. This is the most important part of the problem. Now let's look at the coding section, where I'll be using this complete information to build our code, and we will exactly do the same things as we do in the BFS reversal. I have taken two variables m and m, one for the grid length, other for the column length, and in case either of them is 0, I simply return 0. I have created a new array, obstacles of size m cross n, so as to store the obstacle count that we need to cross for each cell, and I have created a visited array so that I don't visit the same node again and again in order to avoid looping conditions. I have created a queue which will be needed for the BFS reversal. As a default entry, I added 0, 0 index and whatever value of grid was there at 0, 0 index into my queue. It has three parameters: the x coordinate, the y coordinate, and the obstacle count. I updated the obstacle count of 0, 0 equal to grid of 0, 0. Pretty straightforward and simple. I have taken a level variable which tells me the current level of the BFS reversal. Let's start the core iteration. While queue is not empty, I extract the size of the queue. While size minus minus is greater than 0, I pull out the topmost element from the queue. If my x coordinate of the topmost element happens to be equal to m minus 1 and the y coordinate happens to be equal to n minus 1, that means I have reached the bottommost coordinate, and I simply return level minus 1 in those cases. Otherwise, I go and extract the current obstacle count for xy node. So for the current head node, this is my obstacle count, current obstacle count, which will be held at head of second index. I move in all the four directions. I have created a direction array at the topmost line of my solution, and there are four coordinates of it. It will be needed to iterate in four directions: top, left, bottom, right. Pretty simple and straightforward. We have been doing this throughout the last year in plenty of questions. I calculated the coordinates of the adjoining neighbors using the coordinate of the topmost element from the queue plus the direction of 0th index to the x coordinate and direction of first index to the y coordinate. If it is not within the limits, I simply skip it. Otherwise, I calculate the new obstacle count, which will be equal to the current obstacle count that we calculated above at line number 30 plus whatever grid value is. If it is 0, that means there has been no updation in my current obstacle count. If the grid value is 1, that means new obstacle count becomes equal to current plus 1. Also, I extracted the old obstacle count value. If I have not visited this node in the past and the new obstacle count value happens to be less than or equal to k within the limits, I add the new node into the queue with coordinates x, y and new obstacle count. I update the obstacle of xy coordinate to new obstacle count and I mark this visited. Also, there is another case that we need to check. If my old obstacle count happens to be greater than the new obstacle count and new obstacle count is within the limits of k, then we need to reconsider the case irrespective of the fact we have visited this node in the past or not. So I simply add it to the queue, and again we are doing the same things that I did above. I am updating the obstacle count of x, y to new obstacle count and I am marking it as visited. Once I am done with the particular level iteration, I increment the level value, and once I am out of this queue, that means queue has been marked as empty, I simply return -1 because the bottom right terminal was not reachable. Let's try this up. Accepted. This brings me to the end of today's session. I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for viewing it. Have a great day ahead and stay tuned for more updates from Coding Decoded. I'll see you tomorrow with another fresh question, but till then, goodbye.